Swiftblood, Aoife, how are you guys? Hi. I have a new mic. We're gonna test this really quick, okay? We're gonna test this because I got a new mic and I don't know. I was trying to charge my phone as long as possible. Hold on. Is there still no sound? You can hear. Great, great. Can you hear me from over here? Can you hear me like that? Is this good? Sweet, sweet. This is a new microphone. Is it fuzzy? It better not be. I just got this mic. Oh, it just started muted for you. Okay. I was like, shouldn't be no sound. Just fuzzy? Why is it fuzzy? I just got this mic. I did a test run the other day. It's loud. Okay. Better? Worse? No change. Better? Normal? Not normal? Too high? I'm turning the volume down. Well, you keep saying I'm too loud, so I keep turning it down. I didn't turn it off. Can you hear me? I need a muffler. Hold on, wait. I had one. I left it on the other mic. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Pause for a second. Better? There isn't a fan. There is no fan. I'm so tired of getting equipment that doesn't work right. Every time I try and get anything, I'm like, well, fuck me again. If it's picking up a cricket outside, I'm gonna lose it. If that's what it is. Because there's no fan. The AC is on. It is very much on. I'm freezing. Thank you for the compliment. Hearing the electricity in the walls. Do we want to hear it without the mic? Maybe I don't need... That's without the mic. Can you hear me? Better or worse? I said better or worse, and you said yes. Much better. Better without the mic? Okay. Maybe we just don't do it with a mic. I'm always nervous when I go on without a mic, because I feel like you won't be able to hear me when I get quiet. Yeah, because I'm far away from the phone. I gotta have this phone right up on my ass the entire time. Which is hard to do when you read for a long time and your voice gets hoarse and then you gotta yell at your own phone. I just got this. Legit, apart from testing it, have not fucked around and found out about it at all. Hearing something in the background. If it's that goddamn cricket outside, I'm gonna be mad. I would be fine turning off the AC because I'm freezing my fucking ass off. But I don't have any laundry going. Nothing else is happening in this house except for Dave playing a video game. Dave's playing Fight Forever in the next room. That is the only other thing that is happening. Turn off the AC? I'll turn it off. I'm freezing. What was that? Okay. Hold on. Spend in the entirety of the first 15 minutes of this just figuring out my sound. Hold on. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Okay. Okay, what's the story now? Where are we? Okay, well that's a bunch of cicadas. I did because I wanted to try it. No? I'd hate to spend $50 on something that does not do what I need it to do. Okay. Is the buzzing with the mic? That's what I'm trying to determine. Buzzing with the mic. Okay. And you don't hear anything else in this house? But it's buzzing with the mic plugged in? I swear to God, I thought it was the fan in the hallway. Okay. I just wasted $50. That's great news. Cool. Okay, I'll just shout at my phone until I go hoarse. That sounds great. I love that idea. I'm so tired. Okay. All right. All right. I'll just shout at my phone. Where the fuck? Okay. I'm sure there is. I'll try and figure it out. But if it's buzzing while it's plugged in, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. So, and I don't want to scream myself hoarse on my phone every single week. That's so annoying. I'm gonna have to figure it out later. Well, I'm just having this up here. I can put my tea up here. And I can plug my phone in because I deliberately got a microphone that will plug into the USB-C port just so it wouldn't do exactly what it's apparently doing, and I couldn't charge my phone. So I guess now we can charge the phone while we're doing this. So okay, cool. Yeah, I'll just put more money into something that is continuously causing problems. That's definitely going to make it better. I don't know if the buzzing is coming from the mic or not. So, like, if it's actually from it being plugged into the phone, Soundbox isn't going to do anything. It's just going to continue to happen anyway. And if it's something external, the Soundbox would prevent it. But the fact that it's only, I don't know, I don't want to sink money into something and then figure out, like, it's actually the cord and not the millions of cicadas that are right outside my fucking window. So, like, I don't want to sink money into something if I don't know if it's gonna fucking work. Which I was fine. Like, with the other mic, I was like, it's probably this cord. The cord is, like, real thin. And it'd be easy to fuck up, which is why I was always storing it in one of the Tupperware containers that holds all my shit for shit like this. But it didn't really surprise me when it was going out. It was a really cheap mic, and I didn't have any better alternative at that point that I could use with my phone. So I was like, well, I believe this cable is going out, and I'll see if Dave can work on it. But apart from that, like, I'm just gonna... And then I was like, well, I actually have, you know, I paid off my car, and I can afford to do things. So I got another mic, and now that is also causing problems. So I don't know if it's the mic or not, and why would I spend more money on something that I don't know is going to work when I can just raise my voice and yell at my phone. Oh god, it's so much harder when you are right on top of me. You're less than a foot away, and I still feel like you're gonna miss shit because I look down, my voice goes down. It doesn't go... Anyway, it's just really annoying that I just sunk a bunch of money into something. I should not get excited about things. I do better. Anyway, how is everybody? Hopefully better than me. I just missed a week of work. What'd you name the possum? There's a possum living in your backyard and you didn't tell me? Can't believe you've done this. You could have mentioned it earlier when we were texting. And you didn't even mention that. Why did I miss work? Oh, because my car crapped out on me and I had to replace... I thought I had to replace the alternator a while back, so I didn't know for sure if it was that or if I just needed to change the spark plugs. So I changed the spark plugs because it was getting about time, and I put a lot of miles on my car, so I changed the spark plugs, and it seemed to work fine. And yesterday, well, not yesterday, it was Friday, I woke up and got ready for work and went to leave, and then the car would not turn on and it wouldn't jump, and we were like, well, it's got to be the battery. So I take the battery up to fucking AutoZone, and they were like, no, your battery's fine. I was like, okay, it's got to be the alternator or the starter. And I was having some other problems that kind of eliminated the starter as an option for me, so I was like, I'm pretty sure it's the alternator. So I get in there, I take fucking literally everything out of my fucking car except for the actual engine, including the engine mount. So I have my jack with a plank of wood holding up my entire fucking engine block. And I get in there and I take the alternator out. And by that point, it was getting dark because it took me forever to get everything out so I could even reach the alternator in the first place, get it out. And then by the time I get it out, I was like, well, I should replace the serpentine belt while I'm down here because I don't want to have to do this again. So, and then every single auto parts store was already closed. So then I waited till the next day. We got a serpentine belt. And Dave had to come out and help me on day 2 because it was so hot. The Friday, it was fine. It was a decent temperature. It wasn't too hot. It was fine. And then the next day, I went outside and we ran out of bug spray, and I immediately got bit like 6 times in the legs by various mosquitoes. And I was like, I'm gonna go insane. And it's like 90 degrees, and I'm gonna blow my brains out. And Dave was like, okay, I'll get out there and help you. So I'm like, it's just me and Dave like tagging out on this alternator until we get everything put back in there. Get the serpentine belt out. He had to get under the car to ratchet the jack underneath the engine block so that I could position the engine mount on top of it, just so I could be like, okay, a little to the left, up more, like until the bolts connected underneath the goddamn thing, and then finally get it all back in there, hooked back up, and the car doesn't start. So we're like, well, it has to be the fucking battery. And it was the battery. The battery was dead. There was a short in the battery. Why didn't they tell us that? Why didn't they tell us that? So mad. I don't even know if I needed to change that alternator. I don't even know if I needed to do that. But now I got a new alternator. So then I go get a new battery. We connect the battery. Car finally works. You mean I have a core? Alternator costs $250. I'm trading that motherfucking core in and getting every goddamn penny I can back. I'm not getting back in there to put in half a busted alternator that's gonna, sit in my garage for a year. It'll definitely be good after it's chilling there for that long. After I had already driven for over a year with that same alternator, yeah, it's gonna be fine in another year or so. After sitting in my garage, no, we're trading that motherfucking core in. Or probably good. Probably being the key word. You can never be too sure, apparently. So nothing works and I have to fix everything. I'm so tired. And so then you bend over your own engine mount for several hours. And then I wake up the next morning and I'm just my back hurts so bad. Okay. Good to know. So you've named him now. All right. Good name. All right. So we stopped in the middle of the chapter last week, mainly because we didn't have enough time to finish everything. We're probably not going to have enough time to finish everything tonight. Now, think about it, because the second chapter is also not short. Yeah, so we're just gonna get as far as we can. 2 weeks ago, yeah. Because last week we weren't here. Sorry about that. It was mine and Dave's anniversary, and we wanted to play a video game together. And we did, and that was fun. And he's in there playing the same video game, being a total wild card. I saw what he was doing earlier, and he's made some Afro guy, and made him a jobber, and give him this ridiculous blonde afro, and he's walking around with no shirt on, and antagonizing every single character in the game, including online people. So, if anybody plays Fight Forever and you see a ridiculous idiot wearing a blonde afro who just keeps doing his taunt over and over again, that's Dave. That's Dave. Have fun. Yeah, and we had a great anniversary. He made me a really cool box that I forgot to bring over here. It's over on the pedestal. I might post a picture of it in Discord later. And a bunch of pickles. I got a bunch of pickles. Which sounds ridiculous when you think about it, but they're actually really good pickles. Where was that from? Bob's Burgers. Okay, sorry. For a second I was like, where have I heard that same sentence before? No, they're really good pickles. They're MJF pickles. And if you don't know who MJF is, don't worry about it. It's not really relevant to any conversation that is outside of wrestling. And I got a new hoodie. That wasn't a gift. This was just for me. I just got it for me. I got Dave a Bullet Club shirt, and to make it worth the shit, and I got a hoodie. They're delicious pickles. If you fucking look them up, they're Kaylin and Kaylin pickles. They're super good. Their honey mustard pickles are the best pickles. Anyway, enough talking about pickles. I've talked about pickles for way longer than should be allowed. But yeah, 2 weeks ago, we left off in the middle of a chapter because we didn't get enough time, and I don't know how much time we'll have in this one. So, considering that I've normally only take about 10-15 minutes off the top, and this is about a half hour, of half of which was me trying to fix a microphone that is not working. So, yeah, we'll see how far we get, because I don't know. We got about what? We got about 46 pages in, and the next chapter is how many pages? How many pages is this? 26. So I don't know, maybe because that would be almost, yeah, because we left off on page 47, about halfway down. That's a big ask. 42. We might be able to get through it. I'm not sure. So we'll see. But yeah, I know I don't have the YouTube updated yet, but it is updated with the first part of Library of Souls. The tail end of the last book I'm still working on. I have the bulk of it recorded. I just need to edit it, and we all know how I feel about listening to my own voice for hours on end. It gets taxing. So I'm working on it. And I'll get it done as soon as I get it done. I don't want to make an estimate on that because it took me a while. I'm also experimenting on some software, so we'll see how it goes. And my next big thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to work on soundproofing this room so that I can move all my equipment in here. And I want to get a TV so I can just keep all the stream stuff and all my recording equipment in here in a nice soundproof location so that shit like this won't happen every goddamn week. And also it'll make recording easier. So hopefully that goes well. Wish me luck. Thank you for the corgi. Tell Toby I say hi. And hi to all of your cats, because I love all of your cats. And I hope they're within arm's reach of you, because you're gonna need them. This is gonna get wild. So we're gonna take an adventure here today. If you remember how the book started, it was kind of chaos. Everyone was being kidnapped, and amazingly, Jacob, Emma, and Addison get away. And that's about it. They're trying to figure out if they can track their friends or not. We went to an anime convention. Everything got a little bit chaotic. There's sort of a low-speed chase going on right now. And we're in the middle of it. And the way this ends is... I don't know if there's necessarily a trigger for anyone in here. But it's gonna get a little rough. Maybe like triggers for tragedy. I don't know. It's just kind of messed up. And if you have a dark sense of humor, you'll be fine. And if you don't, and you see tragic events and you're like, oh my god, why would you make jokes about that? You're probably not going to like this next character. Anyway, so now that the disclosure is done, who wants me to read a book to you? Dope. Dope. Okay. All right. Thanks, Swiftlet. We walked as fast as Emma could manage, keeping to the side of the street, still sunk in morning shadow, watching for police and following Addison's nose. We passed into an industrial area near the docks, the River Thames revealing itself darkly between the gaps and warehouses, then into a fancy shopping district, where glittering stores were crowned with glassy townhouses. Over their roofs I caught glimpses of the dome of St. Paul's Cathedral, whole again. The sky around it clear and blue. The bombs had all been dropped, and the bombers were long gone, shot down, scraped, retired into museums where they were gathering dust behind ropes to be gawked at by schoolchildren for whom that war seemed as distant as the Crusades. To me, it was quite literally yesterday. Hard to believe these were the same cratered, blacked-out streets through which we'd run for our lives only last night. They were unrecognizable now. Shopping malls seemingly conjured from the ashes, and so were the people who walked them, heads down, glued to phones, clothed in logos. The present seemed suddenly strange to me, so trivial and distracted. I felt like one of those mythical heroes who fights his way back from the underworld only to realize that the world above is every bit as damned as the one below. And then it hit me. I was back. I was in the present again, and I'd crossed into it without the intervention of Miss Peregrine, which was supposed to be impossible. "Emma," I said, "how did I get here?" She kept her eyes trained on the street ahead, always scanning for trouble. "Where? London? On a train, silly." No. I lowered my voice. I mean to now. You said Miss Peregrine was the only one who could send me back." She turned to glance at me, eyes narrowing. "Yes," she said slowly. "She was." "Or so you thought." "No, she was. I'm sure of it. That's how it works." "Then how did I get here?" She looked lost. "I don't know, Jacob. Maybe—" "There," Addison said excitedly, and we broke off, wondering to look. His body was rigid, pointing down the street we'd just turned onto. "I'm picking up dozens of peculiar scent trails now, dozens upon dozens, and they're fresh." "Which means what?" I said. "Other kidnapped peculiars were brought this way, not just our friends," said Emma. "The Whites' hideout must be close by." "Close by here?" I said. The block was lined with fast food joints and tacky souvenir shops, and we stood framed in the neon-lit window of a greasy diner. "I guess I'd been imagining someplace eviler." "Like a dungeon in some dank castle," Emma said, nodding. "Or a concentration camp surrounded by guards and barbed wire fences," I said. "In the snow, like Horace's drawing." "We may find such a place yet," said Addison. "Remember, this is likely just the entrance to a loop." Across the street, tourists were taking pictures of themselves in front of one of the city's iconic red phone boxes. Then they noticed us and snapped a picture in our direction. "Hey," Emma said, "no photos." People were beginning to stare. No longer surrounded by comic conventioneers, we stuck out like sore, bloody thumbs. "Follow me," Addison hissed. "All the trails lead this way." We hurried after him down the block. "If only Millard were here," I said. "He could scout this place without being noticed." "Or if Horace were here, he might remember a dream that would help us," Emma said. "Or find us new clothes," I added. "If we don't stop, I'll cry," Emma said. We came to a jetty bustling with activity. Sun glinted off the water, a narrow inlet of the murky Thames, and clumps of tourists and visitors and fanny packs waddled onto and off of several large boats, each offering more or less identical sightseeing tours of London. Addison stopped. "They were brought here," he said. "It would appear they were put on a boat." We followed his nose through the crowd to an empty boat slip. The Whites had indeed loaded our friends onto a boat, and now we needed to follow them. But in what? We walked around the jetty looking for a ride. "This will never do," Emma grumbled. "These boats are too large and crowded. We need a small one, something we can pilot ourselves." "Wait a moment," said Addison, his snout twitching. He tottered away, nose to the wooden boards. We followed him across the jetty and down a little unmarked ramp that was ignored by the tourist. It led to a lower dock below the street, just at water level. There was no one around. It was deserted. Here Addison stopped, wearing a look of deep concentration. "Peculiars have come this way." "Our peculiars?" Emma said. He sniffed the dock again and shook his head. "Not ours, but there are many trails here, new and old, strong and faded, all mixed together. This is an oft-used pathway." Ahead of us, the dock narrowed and disappeared beneath the main jetty, where it was swallowed in shadows. "Oft used by whom?" Emma said, peering anxiously into the dark. "I've never heard of any loop entrance underneath a dock in Wapping." Addison had no answer. There was nothing to do but forge on and explore. So we did, passing nervously into the shadows. As our eyes adjusted, another jetty resolved into view, one altogether different from the sunny, pleasant one above us. The boards down here were green and rotting, broken in places. A scrum of squeaking rats scampered through a mound of discarded cans, then leapt a short distance from the dock into an ancient-looking skiff, bobbing in the dark water between wooden pylons slimed with moss. "Well," Emma said, "I guess that would do in a pinch." "But it's filled with rats," said Addison, aghast. "It won't be for long," Emma said, igniting a small flame in her hands. "Rats don't much care for my company." Since there didn't seem to be anyone to stop us, we crossed to the boat, hopscotching around the weakest-looking boards, and began to untie it from the dock. "Stop!" came a booming voice from inside the boat. Emma squealed, Addison yelped, and I nearly leapt out of my skin. A man who'd been sitting in the boat, how had we not seen him until now, rose slowly to his feet, straightening himself inch by inch until he towered over us. He was 7 feet tall at least, his massive frame draped in a cloak and his face hidden beneath a dark hood. I'm so sorry," Emma stammered. We thought this boat was..." "Many have tried to steal from Sharon," the man thundered. "Now their skulls make homes for sea creatures." I swear, we weren't trying to..." "We'll just be going," squealed Addison, backing away. "So sorry to bother you, my lord." "Silence!" the boatman roared, stepping onto the creaking dock with one enormous stride. "Anyone who comes for my boat must pay the price." I was completely terrified, and when Emma shouted, "Run!" I was already turning to go. We'd only gotten a few paces, though, when my foot crashed through a rotting board and I pitched face first onto the dock. I tried to scramble up, but my leg was thigh deep in the hole. I was stuck, and by the time Emma and Addison circled back to help me, it was too late. The boatman was upon us, looming overhead and laughing, his cavernous guffaws booming around us. It might have been a trick of the darkness, but I could have sworn I saw a rat tumble from the hood of his cloak and another slip from his sleeve as he slowly raised his arm toward us. "Get away from us, you maniac!" Emma shouted, clapping her hands to light a flame. Though the light she made did nothing to chase away the dark inside the boatman's hood, I suspected not even the sun could do that. It showed us what he held in his outstretched hand, which wasn't a knife nor any weapon. It was a piece of paper, pinched between his thumb and a long white forefinger. He was offering it to me, bending low so I could reach it. "Please," he said calmly, "read it." I hesitated. "What is it?" "The price. And some other information regarding my services." Quaking with fear, I reached up and took the paper. We all leaned in to read by the light of Emma's flame. Sharon's River Tours, offering day trips and romantic sunset cruises since 1693. Discretion guaranteed. Ask about our specials. Price, 1 gold piece. Here's a picture. Also, thank you for all the gifts. I appreciate it. I looked up at the giant boatman. "So, this is you?" I said uncertainly. "You're Sharon?" "In the flesh," he replied, his voice an oily slither that made my neck hairs stand on end. "Good bird, man, you scared us half to death," said Addison. "Was all that bluster and cackling really necessary?" "My apologies. I was napping and you startled me." "We startled you?" "For a moment I thought you really were trying to steal my boat." He chuckled. "Ha! Ha!" Emma said, forcing a laugh. "No. Oh, we were just making sure it was moored properly." Sharon turned to examine the skiff, which was simply roped to one of the wooden pylons. "And how do you find it?" he asked, the dull white crescent of a grin spreading beneath his hood. "Totally ship-shape," I said, finally jimmying my leg free from the hole. "Really good, mooring." "Couldn't have tied a better knot myself," said Emma, helping me to my feet. By the way," said Addison, "the ones who did try, are they really all—" He glanced at the dark water and swallowed audibly. "Never mind that," the boatman said. "Now you've woken me, and I'm at your service. What can I do for you?" "We need to hire your boat," Emma said firmly. "By ourselves." "I can't allow that," Sharon said. "I always captain the boat." Too bad then," Addison said, turning eagerly to leave. Emma caught him by the collar. Wait, she hissed. We're not done here. She smiled pleasantly at the boatman. So, we happen to know that a lot of peculiars come through this. She looked around, searching for the right word. Place? Is that because there's a loop entrance nearby? I don't know what you mean, Sharon said flatly. Okay, yes, of course, you can't just admit it. I completely understand, but you're in safe company with us. Obviously, I elbowed her. Emma, don't. Why not? He's already seen the dog talk and me make fire if we can't speak honestly. But we don't know if he is, I said. Of course he is, she said, then turned to Sharon. You are, aren't you? The boatman stared at us impassively. He is, isn't he? Emma asked Addison. Can't you smell it on him? No, not clearly. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter, so long as he's not a white. She gave Sharon a beady-eyed glare. You're not, are you? I am a businessman, he said evenly, who's well accustomed to meeting talking dogs and girls who make fire with their hands, said Addison. In my line of work, one meets a wide variety of people. I'll cut to the chase, I said, shaking water off one foot then the other. We're looking for some friends of ours. We think they might have come this way within the last hour or so. Mostly kids, some adults. One was invisible. One could float. They'd be hard to miss, Emma said. They were being held at gunpoint by a gang of whites. Sharon crossed his arms into a wide black X. As I said, all manner of people hire my boat, and each relies on my absolute discretion. I won't discuss my clientele. Is that so? Emma said. Excuse us. Just a moment. She took me aside to whisper in my ear. If he doesn't start talking, I'm going to get really angry. Don't do anything reckless, I whispered back. Why? You believe that humbug about skulls and sea creatures? Yes, actually, I know he's a slime bag, but slime bag? He's practically admitted to doing business with whites. He might even be one. But he's a useful slime bag. I have a feeling he knows exactly where our friends were taken. It's just a matter of asking the right questions. Then have at it, she said crossly. I turned to Sharon and said with a smile, What can you tell me about your tours? He brightened immediately. Finally, a subject I can speak freely about. I just happen to have some information right here. He turned snappily and went to a nearby pylon. A shelf had been nailed onto it, and upon the shelf was displayed a skull, dressed in old-time aviator garb, leather cap, goggles, a jaunty scarf. Gripped between its teeth were several pamphlets, and Sharon pulled one out and handed it to me. It was a cheesy tourist brochure that looked like it had been printed when my grandfather was a boy. I leafed through its pages as Sharon cleared his throat and spoke. Let us see now. Families enjoy the Feminine Flames package. In the morning, we go upriver to watch Viking siege engines catapult diseased sheep over the city walls. Then have a nice box lunch and return in the evening via the Great Fire of 1666, which is a real treat after dark, with the flames reflecting on the water. Very nice. Or if you've only got a few hours to spare, we have a lovely gibbeting round execution dock right at sunset, popular with honeymooners, in which some excellently foul-tongued pirates give colorful speeches before being put to the rope. For a small fee, you can even have your photo taken with them. Inside the brochure were illustrations of smiling tourists enjoying the sights he described. The final page was a photo of one of Sharon's guests posing with a gang of surly pirates wielding knives and guns. And here's some pictures for you guys. Everybody who thinks that's supposed to be Amelia Earhart's skull, raise your hand. Okay. Peculiars do this stuff for fun? I marveled. This is a waste of time, Emma whispered, checking behind us anxiously. I'll bet he's just running out the clock until the next patrol of whites arrives. I don't think so, I said. Just wait. Sharon was plowing on as if he hadn't heard us. And you can see all the lunatics' heads arranged on pikes as we float beneath London Bridge. Lastly, there's our most requested excursion, which is a personal favorite of mine. But, oh, never mind, he said coyly, waving his hand. Come to think of it, I doubt you'd be interested in Devil's Acre. Why not? Emma said. Too nice and pleasant? Actually, it's rather a rough spot. Certainly, no place for children. Emma stamped her foot and shook the whole rotting dock. That's where our friends were taken, isn't it? She shouted. Isn't it? Don't lose your temper, miss. Your safety is my highest concern. Quit winding us up and tell us what's there. Well, if you insist. Sharon made a sound like he was slipping into a warm bath and began rubbing his leathery hands together as if just thinking about it brought him pleasure. Nasty things, he said. Dreadful things. Vile things. Anything you like, so long as what you like is nasty, dreadful, and vile. I've often dreamed of hanging up my oar pole and retiring there one day, perhaps to run a little abattoir on Oozing Street. What name did you call it again? Said Addison. Devil's Acre, the boatman said wistfully. Addison shuddered from tip to tail. I know it, he said gravely. It's a terrible place, the most depraved and dangerous slum in the whole long history of London. I've heard stories of peculiar animals brought there in cages and made to fight in blood sport games. Grim bears pitted against emu rafts, chimsoneri against Fleming goats, parents against their own children, forced to maim and kill one another for the entertainment of a few sick peculiars. Disgusting, Emma said. What peculiar would participate in such a thing? Addison shook his head ruefully. Outlaws, mercenaries, exiles. But there are no outlaws in peculiardom, said Emma. Any peculiar convicted of a crime is brought by the Home Guard to a punishment loop. How little you know of your own world, the boatman said. Criminals can't be jailed if they're never caught, Addison explained. Not if they escape to a loop like that first. Lawless, ungovernable.
It sounds like hell, I said. Why would anyone go there voluntarily?
What's hell for some, said the boatman, is paradise for others. It's the last truly free place. Somewhere you can buy anything, sell anything. He leaned toward me and lowered his voice. Or hide anything.
Like kidnapped Imbrans and peculiar children? I said. Is that what you're getting at?
I said nothing of the sort, shrugged the boatman, busying himself with a rat plucked from the hem of his cloak. Shoo there, Percy, Daddy's working. While he placed the rat gently aside, I gathered Emma and Addison in a tight huddle.
What do you think? I whispered. Could this devil place really be where our friends were taken? Well, they have to be keeping their prisoners inside a loop. And a pretty old one, said Emma. Otherwise, most of us would age forward and die after a day or two. But what do the whites care if we die? I said. They just want to steal our souls. Maybe, but they can't let the Imbrans die. They need them to recreate the 1908 event. Remember the Whites' crazy plan?
All that stuff Golem was raving about. Immortality and ruling the world.
Yeah, so they've been kidnapping Imbrans for months and need a place to hold them where they won't turn into dried fruit leather, right? Which means a pretty old loop. 80, 100 years, at least. And if Devil's Acre is really a lawless jungle of depravity...
It is,
said Addison. Then it sounds like a perfect spot for whites to secret away their captives.
Right in the heart of peculiar London, too, said Addison. Right under everyone's noses. Clever little blighters.
Guess that settles it, I said.
Emma stepped smartly toward Sharon.
We'll take 3 tickets to that disgusting, horrible place you described, please.
Be very, very certain that's what you want, said the boatman. Innocent lambs like yourselves don't always return from Devil's Acre.
We're sure, I said.
Very good, then. But don't say I didn't warn you.
Only thing is, we don't have 3 gold pieces, said Emma.
Is that right? Sharon tinted his long fingers and let out a sigh that smelled like an open tomb. Normally I insist on payment up front, but I'm feeling generous this morning. I find your plucky optimism charming. You can owe me. And then he laughed as if he knew we'd never live to repay him, and stepping aside, he raised a cloaked arm towards his boat. Welcome aboard, children. And that's the end of chapter 1. We're going to read until we run out of time. Sharon is one of my favorite characters. And get ready for Devil's Acre, because that's going to be fun.
Devil's Acre's a fun time if you got a dark sense of humor and you're not Toby, because there's gonna be an awful lot of Sharon in the remainder of this. He's also a recurring character. He comes back in various ways. So he's not a bad character, he's just creepy. He's just creepy and weird. Anytime he talks about something lame and like fucking other people are like, oh, that's disgusting. He's like, this is the best day of my life. Talk about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory like it's Christmas. And you're just like... So... always stop barking. Oh, that's good. I'm sorry about Toby. Oh, man. Toby's gonna hate the rest of the series. It's so unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun time. I'm also currently working on a cosplay of Sharon, so that'll be fun. Cuddles is having a great time. Cuddles is chill. Cuddles doing a fine job of it. Toby's losing his mind actively. I'm so sorry, Swiftfoot. When I came up with Sharon's voice, I did not think this was going to cause such a problem among people's dogs. I'm so sorry. I was having a fun time. Christ. A lot of the time I'll read these chapters beforehand and like kind of decide on a voice that I'm going to do for a character before I do it. Like, so that I can see how it comes up on recording and make sure at least, you know, like it's a little bit unique. And sometimes if they're a really minor character, I will forget the voice. But most of the time, if they're a major character or a character I really like, I won't forget their voice. But I'll like decide on that beforehand. I didn't think it was going to cause such an issue with the dog. I didn't know that. I did not plan this. This was not intentional. Please don't hate me. Yeah, and sustainable for me to do for at least 2 hours. Because if it's super high, I'm going to make sure they're a minor enough character like Esme or something. To where, like, I only have to go up that high a certain amount of times. Or, like, if they have, like, an accent or a lisp, like the Russian man I was comfortable doing. Addison, not as comfortable doing long term. And I knew he was going to have a bigger role in this book later on. So I have to be selective with who I try different voices on. Yes, Toby, I'm so sorry. I'm apologizing personally to Toby. Swiftblood's like, my dog's going nuts. And I'm like, he's a reoccurring character. This is bad news. Oh no. Damn, can't change it now. My dog was fine when I tested this. Normally I don't do it with like a... Cuddles just purrs louder. Cuddles is a freak. Also, Cuddles hardcore gives me cuteness aggression. Also, Marshmallow, the new cat in the chat. Cuteness aggression. I have to go eat sand with a fork for a while. I'm like, I shall simply pass away after viewing this small cat in a trash can. No, I got a DM from Ray earlier, where they had shot like a picture of Cuddles just like doing the stretchy thing, and I was like, I have to go pass away now. I have to go die because this picture makes me want to die. I have to die so that I am not bearing witness to it. Some things you just don't feel like are okay for you to see. Like, I'm like, that's too cute. I'm not allowed to see something that cute. I must deprive myself of happiness. I'm gonna go eat sand. Go to my local park, eat some sand real quick. Right out the sandbox. Oh. We're going to take a short break before I start gaming so I can go eat some sand at Pet Eagle Park real quick. After I view this cat taking a nap. Because I guarantee you it's going to be the best picture I've seen all day. I do, man. It's something about little kitties. Someone keeps sending me videos of the little Bean update, the little kitty that's got a lot of medical problems, but that cat is so cute it makes me want to pass away. And I'm like, no, give me pneumonia instead. I'll take pneumonia so this kitten doesn't have to have it. Look at him, perfect. Look at the little Bean. He can't be in that much pain. That's not allowed. It's so cute. Look at it. The little kitty deserves to live. Quit giving him medical problems. I'm gonna die. And every single time I get one of those videos, I die a little bit more inside it because it's so cute and he has so many problems. Why is a cat having medical problems? So cute. He's not allowed to be that. Every time. And some of the same people will send me the same videos sometimes. There's like a weird overlap in cat videos, which I'm fine with. Except for the little Bean update, the little beanie guy. He's so small. He's so small. He's like fit in your palm of your hand small. And his face was swelling in one of the last ones. And I was like, no. And then like 3 people sent me that video. And I was like, no. My heart, I can't go through this again. I'm gonna go into cardiac arrest because of a small cat I've never met before in my life. I'm gonna find a cat. Sorry, give me a second. The cat's just so adorable. I'm not allowed. I can't. Should be allowed here. All cats deserve more happiness than me. I firmly believe that. And I'm so sad. This one cat just has so many medical problems. It's flipping me the fuck out. I'm so stressed for this cat. My anxiety goes through the roof every time they make another video. And I'm like... I have heart palpitations. Poor cat. I'll save this for later. I'm gonna open my tea. Hold on. My iced tea over here. I'll put in a jar. I made a whole pitcher of Darjeeling iced tea. And I'll put some in a mason jar.